Hey guys, it's Mrs. Blue, back with another art lesson. Don't forget, I have a YouTube channel called Mrs. Blue, Let's Make Some Art. You can email me pictures of your amazing projects at jlpic@cps.edu, and you may have a chance of winning the virtual golden paintbrush. So let's take a look at today's golden paintbrush winner. Drum roll, please. Okay, today's golden paintbrush winner is the amazing, let's move these out of the way, Skylar. Look at Skylar's squiggly name. Let's zoom in on that. Let's get a close-up look at Skylar. There's Skylar's name. He did such a great job on his squiggly name. It looks so fancy. Good job, Skylar. Your art looks really, really awesome. Way to go. So I figured, since it's been a little gloomy and rainy outside, that today we would do a gloomy and rainy project. So we're going to draw and paint some wellies or rain boots splashing in water. We're going to paint a bigger version. This is kind of a small version. We're going to do a big version. So you're going to need to complete this 2 pieces of paper because we're going to draw the boots on one paper and cut them out and glue them onto the other paper that we're going to create the rain. This is another straw activity. We're going to use a straw, some water, and some blue paint, of course, to replicate the look of water to create the puddle that the boots are splashing in. We're going to create that part of the artwork first because we want that to dry for a little bit while we're drying the boots. Okay, so let's first create a puddle. I'm going to keep my paper like this, and you can see the puddle kind of splashes out like this. I'm going to create it upside down, and then I'm going to flip my paper. Because imagine if I put a puddle of water here, I can blow it in this direction, and it's going to create the puddle on the bottom of this paper. Then when I turn it, it'll be ready for the boot to stomp in it. So we are going to start by refreshing our memory on how to create some straw art. I'm using a reusable straw because hashtag save the turtles. So let's take a look at how to do this. Okay, so I am going to start by creating a little puddle of water on my paper. So I'm using my brush to just create a little puddle of water. Then I'm going to swirl my brush in the blue paint, and I'm going to add some blue in this, like so. And then I'm going to take my my straw, and I am going to blow with my straw. I want you to be able to see me, but I kind of go off camera when I do that. But you don't want your straw to touch this. Your straw should always be away from this, and you are never sucking up on the straw. You're only blowing air out of the straw. Like so. So I can use more water and even more paint. And really, you know, there's no rhyme or reason to this. You're just creating a puddle. I'm just going to get a whole bunch of water on my paper, guys. And we really want it to be blue because that is what's going to look so awesome. Like a puddle. Even though puddles are really kind of brown, right? They're really kind of gross. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more. I want it to look super awesome. So why not make a really large puddle? Ooh, yeah, that's looking good. Let's get some over here. So it looks like the person who stomped in it just left a big splashy mess everywhere. You don't want it to dry before you have a chance to blow it. I think if I do this, you can see me. Look, there's me. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. Okay, I'm gonna stop. We'll need our paints again in a little bit. I might as well leave them close by. But this puddle, look at that, ready to go. I can set off to the side a minute. Let me make some space. I've got water and all kinds of stuff here. To dry while we are drying the boots. And I left a little puddle there. Let's clean that up. Okay, now we need to draw the boots. For this part, we need our paper facing the tall way and a pencil and an eraser. And then shortly after that, we're going to need glue and scissors. Okay, so, and you will need a black marker, either a Sharpie or a regular black marker. It's up to you. All right, so I have all kinds of stuff in the way here. Let's draw these shoes. So our paper is facing tall, so vertical, not horizontal, tall. And we're gonna draw some boots, and we can draw them pretty big. You don't have to worry about drawing so small. So let's draw the general shape of the boot. Let me move it that way a little bit. The general shape of the boot first. I'd say it kind of goes around like this. Down. And we can add all of the details in a second. It kind of angles up. That looks a little too. Angles up like this. Let's make it a little wider. And over, that's one boot. You guys see how I always have sketch lines that I go back and erase when I'm kind of determining the shape. So forgive me. That's kind of my quick technique for drawing. There's the front. Now I'm going to add some details to this boot because that's what makes it super cool. This boot's going to have a little sole on it. So it's going to go up like so. And then let's create even more of a sole because that's what really makes it look like a boot. Maybe it has some treads, right? Because when you're walking out in the rain, you need some traction so you don't slip on things. You, of course, do not have to draw all of these little extra little silly things. And then lots of rain boots or wellies have this little shape kind of like this. And then we'll put a little, maybe it has a little label on it here, and a little rim around the top, like so. And then here's my second boot, connected to it like they're standing together. There's the rim around the top. Maybe I'll just include the label all at the same time as I'm drawing. Oops, let's go down much lower. I about didn't leave enough room on the paper, guys. It's a good thing I'm using a pencil. I almost had to do some serious erasing there. There's my second boot. And let's add this little detail line right here on that boot. Maybe we can add some stitching line around the seams here, right? You can make it look like nice boots. So there's my rain boots. After you draw your rain boots, I would like you to take a black marker, preferably a permanent marker if you have one, and if you have permission from an adult in your house. Otherwise, a regular marker is fine. Just once in a while, when your paint touches a regular marker, it can bleed a little bit onto the paper, and you might not like that. But if you use a permanent marker, it doesn't, and that's kind of nice. But just make sure an adult is okay And then we're gonna literally trace every single thing we just drew. So we're gonna go through and trace everything until it looks like this. There's my traced example. Okay, so pause the screen, take some time. You might have to draw your boots smaller, like I almost made a mistake and drew my boots too big and they ran off the edge of the paper. After you finish outlining everything with marker and your boots look like however you want your boots to look, then you're going to take some scissors and you're going to cut around your boots and you're going to cut them out. You don't need to cut into each of those little grooves if you made grooves. Sometimes that's just way too tricky. So we're not coloring our boots yet, right? Did you notice that? There's a reason for that, because if we color our boots now, you could do that. You just have to wait until everything dries before gluing it together. So I thought maybe it'd be smarter to glue them on first and then paint them. But, you know, if you have time at home, you can paint them first and then glue it together after it dries, and that would also work just perfect. It did not cut very well right here. Let me even that out just a touch. Okay, so here's my boots all cut out, my rain boots. Now we're done with scissors, and you're going to need this paper again right here, and you're going to need a glue stick. Now I'm not going to put glue on the back of my entire boots, because if I do that, this part, look, doesn't land on the paper, and it will be super sticky. So I'm going to kind of look at just the bottom half of my boots I need to put glue on, right? I don't want to have too much glue sticking off the top. So that's probably good, just that bottom portion of my boots. And then I'm going to make them just stomping directly in that puddle. Check that out. I'm going to press down, and maybe then I can lift this up. Looks like I could have put a touch of glue right here. I'll make sure that's sticking. And now I'm ready to paint my boots. So let's do that, right? So get our color, crayons, get out any sort of thing that you like to use to color your artwork. I think paints are being super fun today, so I'm going to paint. So I got my brush. I was using blue paint, so let's make sure you can see that. I'm really rinsing off my brush right now, so it's not blue. And I'm going to be careful not to rest my arm on this because the puddle is still a little bit wet. All right, so I think I'm going to paint my boots red and orange because why not? So I'm going to paint this part red. I can get a little more color on my brush, huh? That looks very pastel, and I want it to look very bright. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to paint this little label red here. This guy right here. Should we take a break so you can see my star? Look, it's Starry Night, but with a stormtrooper. Yeah, it's pretty fun, huh? Okay, now let's see. I'm doing, terrible painting right now. I'm trying to rush, and I don't really need to. I don't know why I'm trying to rush. I can slow down a bit. These are looking so spring-like, these rain boots. I love it. Oh, now here I have to be careful. Stay in the line, not paint on the background. I guess that would be the benefit to painting it and waiting for it to dry. I just didn't have time to let it dry while you were watching me on the video. So I did the shortcut version. Now, this paper I'm using is pretty thin, so I'm going to be very careful when I'm painting to not go back and forth in these spots because I don't want my paper to rip. I want it to be a little darker in here. Okay, and last but not least, let's do this down here and this here too. Let's do this. That's so nice. And here. And this shadowy part underneath the sole of the shoe. I put little X's on the sole of the shoe to make it look like you would see a little bit of the bottom when they were jumping. All right, now let's switch colors. Rinse out my brush. Keep my paints nice and neat. And now I just have this large portion, which will go pretty fast. Except for when I get here, to go slow. Figure out what other art projects I'm going to do today. All kinds of them. I love creating art and doing projects. Sewing, painting, so many. Cooking, all crafty things. Keep myself busy. Hope you guys are enjoying painting with me right now. It's such a fun project. I love this straw art. Straighten that out a little bit. Okay, now this part I gotta pay attention so I don't bungle it up. Here we go. Oop. And right here. And there you have it. Look at that. That's so fun. Stomping in the rain. I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this art project today. I think it's pretty awesome. And it's very gloomy outside, so it reminds me of the weather outside. Maybe I'll have to put on my rain boots and go jump in the rain later today. Okay, I can't wait to see pictures of your rain boots stomping in the rain, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another art lesson. Bye, have a great day.